Hello and welcome to today's QuoteWerks Feature Spotlight webinar. My name is Josh Lockheed and I'm the training evangelist here at QuoteWerks. Today we'll be focusing specifically on the purchasing features within QuoteWerks. For those of you that already use purchasing modules, we hope that you can learn a little bit more about how you can leverage those tools to better assist your business. For those of you that have not yet used purchasing in QuoteWerks, we hope to introduce you to the platform, and if there's any questions or any additional information that you might need to get that to you so you can make a decision as to whether or not it's a good solution for you. With that being said, we do have some general housekeeping to review. Here at QuoteWerks, we use GoToWebinar. So we have the questions box in the top right of your browser there. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and type them in there during the webinar. I'll do my best to get to them. For some reason, I'm not able to get to them during the course of the webinar. At the end of the webinar, I'll circle back, see if there are any questions, and then of course if there's any underlying questions, you can always reach out to us at community@quotewerks.com. Again, that's community@quotewerks.com. In addition to having this session, we also will be sending out a recording of the session, so expect within the next 24 to 48 hours to see an email from me with that recording, and feel free to review it and or share it with anyone that wasn't able to join. So let's get started. First here, we'll talk a little bit about what purchasing is in QuoteWerks, and really what purchasing in QuoteWerks enables you to do is to source products from your distributors, your vendors, those individuals that are providing you with products or services. It also gives you the ability to send purchase orders to those distributors or vendors to actually place orders. And for some of those vendors, we have actually electronic ordering that's enabled within our software, so you can actually place those orders directly with those distributors and vendors as well. QuoteWerks purchasing module also enables you to do receiving and basic inventory management. Also have the ability to further the process and send these transactions over to QuickBooks, ConnectWise, or Autotask as well. And then there's another component of purchasing in QuoteWerks called Vendor RFQ, which is a great system. It gives you the ability to send out RFQs to your distributors or vendors asking for additional pricing, or to give you potential price breaks on products that you are looking to sell to your customers. So we're going to review each of these different areas throughout the course of the webinar, and we're actually going to start with the purchasing window, which is where a lot of what we'll be covering today occurs. There are three tabs in the purchasing window. We've got the purchasing tab, the purchase order tab, as well as the ordered items tab. And we're going to start here today with the purchasing tab. Now what the purchasing tab does for you is it gives you the ability to filter through your different orders that you've completed within QuoteWerks, and you can filter them using a number of different filters, which we'll review when we get in there. But you can essentially take a list of all of the items that are included on a single order or multiple orders, and then select those items and either manually create purchase orders, or if it's available, electronically order those products from those distributors that support electronic ordering. So the purchasing window is kind of the first step when it comes to engaging with purchasing within QuoteWerks. Obviously you've got a lot of other quote activity that's going to go on, but when you're actually engaging with purchasing, this is where you're likely going to go first. Next tab is the purchase orders tab, and this is where it's going to actually view or show all of the different purchase orders that you've created within QuoteWerks, as well as electronic orders as well. As I mentioned, you do have some great filter capabilities here as well. So you can search by vendor, PO number, PO ref, and a number of other fields, again, that we'll review in a little bit. And what's also cool about this particular tab is it enables you to track shipping and receiving of the items that you've placed orders for, either manually or electronically as well. There's some additional integrations that are available if you've electronically ordered these items, but both manual and electronic orders are very well handled on this purchase orders tab. Helps you keep track of all the different things that you may have purchased. Now, once you've actually ordered those items, they're going to show up here on the ordered items tab, which is the third tab in the purchasing module. This is going to list all items included on your orders that are outstanding. It can be a single order or multiple order, and you can actually filter and narrow down those different items to understand exactly what it is that you have ordered in the past. You can manually create purchase orders as well, where there's also that electronic ordering option. So what we'll talk about here next is that idea of exporting purchase orders. So this is a great tool and really one of the things that helps bridge the gap between your CRM and your accounting system, and that's one of the main components of what QuoteWerks provides. And this export option gives you the ability to actually, in the process of creating a PO or manually, export these POs directly to ConnectWise, Autotask, or QuickBooks Online. So this gives you the ability to just go in there, quickly select a checkbox, and then that PO is then exported to that external system. So a really quick and easy way for you to be able to export your POs to your accounting and or PSA system. I mentioned vendor RFQ earlier in this presentation. This, again, is a tool used to provide your vendors with the ability to bid on different items, and really helps you to centralize vendor communication as well. So here you're going to be asking for pricing. You also have the ability to go back and forth with your vendors if you need to negotiate and or ask questions. You also can manage your responses from your vendors directly within there. And when you find a vendor or a distributor that's providing you with the best price, you can then award them with a bid. And all this communication is done through the vendor RFQ interface. And the communication itself is done via email. It's a really cool, slick tool that I'll be demonstrating for you in just a little bit. So that there is a quick overview of purchasing in QuoteWerks. We're actually going to dive in for a majority of our demo today into what you can do with purchasing in QuoteWerks. And this is going to be really the pinnacle of our engagement today, is again looking specifically at the interface itself. So here we are in QuoteWerks Web. I've got just a quote open here with some items on it, but we really don't even need to have these items here. They're just there really as a placeholder. What I really want to focus on are a couple of different things. And the first thing that I want to talk about is that purchasing in QuoteWerks is going to be very heavily dependent upon how you've arranged your vendor information within the system. So we talked about submitting POs to vendors. In order for you to do that, you need to have that vendor information uploaded and ready to be used by the QuoteWerks system. And there's a tool that we have here, which is vendor maintenance. So if we go over and click on vendors over on the left here, it's going to bring us to our vendor maintenance window. And you can see I already have a number of different vendors that have been set up. But just to give you an idea of the information that you might want to input in here, we'll go ahead and click the new button. So we have here our vendor name. Just go ahead and call this Acme Distributor. Probably primary contact John Smith, and we'll just put jsmith@acme.com. So there we've got the vendor name, we've got the primary contact name, as well as the email there. So this brings us to the edit vendor window, where you can see the name that I just put in has been there. We also have the ability to input the address information, the phone, the fax, the accounting number, and there's a couple other cool things over here like free shipping minimum. So is there a threshold in which you have to meet in order to get free shipping? In that case, we could put that right in there. We've got the min order amount. So is there a minimum order that you need to place with them in order to be able to fulfill those orders? Very possible you have a certain minimum. And then if there is a minimum order or below what your minimum order will be, and there's a fee associated with it, you have the ability to put that in here as well. You also have fields for terms, accounting ID, PO prefix and postfix, and a nice tool here for you to include some notes about that particular vendor if you'd like as well. You just might simply say, make sure to contact John every time you put in a quote to make sure that you have the best price, or anything else that might help inform your working with this particular vendor. Now you can see here down at the bottom that it has also created a contact for us, a vendor contact in John Smith. If we wanted to, we could come in and click on John Smith and open up his edit vendor contact card. And there's a number of different things that we can put in here. Again, we've got our notes field here if we wanted to put something specific for John. All the different titles or information here on our fields are pretty standard in regards to title, role, ref, phone, direct number, and mobile number. But down here at the bottom is also important to consider as well. So this is going to consider whether or not we're going to include as the to or CCC in our POs that we're sending, and also whether or not they're going to be the to or CC in vendor RFQ emails as well. So these are important toggles to put on there in order to enable the PO creation and sending, as well as the work in vendor RFQ. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Now, obviously, if you are putting in your own vendor information, you're likely want to put in additional information like the address and phone and the contact phone. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to leave those blank. And as we saw before, I've actually got a number of vendors in here that I'm going to use to actually demonstrate here today. Now, before we actually get into using the system itself, what I'd like to do is just talk about one other setup tool that you have, which is, again, we have the ability to export these items to either accounting or to your PSA systems. And the way that you would set that up is just by going to Setup, Options, and Accounting. And down here at the bottom, we have the purchase order integration. You can see right now our purchase order integration is enabled with QuickBooks. And there is a default export to on Create PO window, and that's going to make sure when it's checked that when we go and create our PO, that there is another checkbox there that enables us to export these to, in this case, QuickBooks, and that will be selected by default. So those are just two quick setup things I wanted to show you before we dive into actually using purchasing. So those are great tools for you to be able to use. When we talk about purchasing, as I've mentioned before, a lot of what we're referring to is enabled or done via this purchasing icon up here. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And here we see the three tabs that we talked about during the presentation. So here on the purchasing tab, we can choose currently open order if we have an order open, or multiple orders. And what we're ultimately looking for is a list of products that we need to order or purchase from our different distributors. Now, if you do select multiple orders, this is actually a great option that you have, because you can order products across multiple orders, is you can sort by vendor. So here we're going to go ahead and just select a vendor. Go ahead and select Ingram Micro. And you can see that this has a list of all of the different items that have been on orders but have not yet been ordered from our distributors or vendors. So with that being said, it's a good indication that all or likely some of these items need to be ordered. So the way that you would actually do that, again, you have two ways to do it, either manually creating the PO or electronically ordering. Let me just mention that electronic ordering is currently in development in web, but it is fully functional in desktop. So at the end of this presentation, I may hop into desktop just to show you how you would do it today, as when it is released in web, it'll be very similar. And I can tell you that those integrations are coming relatively soon. So keep an eye out. So we've selected our vendor. We've filtered our results via that vendor. Let's say we wanted to order a couple of items from this list. We can go ahead and select those. And in this case, we're going to manually create a PO. So we've selected them. It says in this case that we've got 3 selected, and we're going to go ahead and click manually create PO. There is a quick warning here that just says that you can place orders electronically for Ingram Micro, and that this will be a manual PO. So we're going to go ahead and hit yes to proceed. And this brings us to the create purchase order for Ingram Micro screen. Here there's a number of different fields that you can fill out. So for example, we've got our PO number. You can put in, sorry about that. You can put in whatever number you might want here, or if you click these ellipses button, it's going to go ahead and get you the next available PO number in the sequence that you have. So you can see we've automatically assigned a PO number for us. We've got the PO date, which is going to default to today's date. You can go in there and change it if you'd like. We've also got ref ID, flooring account, descriptions as well, if you want to put a description for the PO. And other tracking items, we have the sales order number as well as the disti sales order number. And then we also have our ship to here as well. And the ship to gives you the ability to copy from your sold to, ship to, bill to, the sales rep location, or our location as it's indicated in the system. So great to kind of pull information directly into the document without having to retype information. There's a PO notes field here that you could put in that's going to actually be included in the PO to your vendor. So this would be something like, hey, can you please let me know if these are available? And if not, let me know what the potential order date might be for these items. That's just an example, but it could be really anything that you'd like for it to be. And then here's this button here that I discussed earlier, which would enable you to actually export this over to QuickBooks as well. So we can click that and it'll automatically export this PO to QuickBooks. So we're going to click OK. And in this case, I got a bit of an error, which says that my QuickBooks needs to be reconnected, which I will have to do in a little bit. But needless to say, my purchase order here is still created. Even though that export may not have gone through, we still have a purchase order that has been generated. We have our QuoteWerks PO number as well as our QuickBooks PO number as well. Now from here, there's a number of different things that you can do. If you just wanted to have this created, it was exported to QuickBooks and you don't need to do anything else in QuoteWerks, you could just copy the text and close, in which case you're going to be getting the PO numbers. Or you can save the PO as PDF. Or even better than that is we've got an integration here with email within QuoteWerks. So if you wanted to email this PO, all you have to do is click on email PO. And again, really cool thing is it's going to take the vendor information that we have stored in vendor maintenance, automatically include the individuals that you have set for a to or CC. You're going to have the subject created with the PO number and then the vendor. And then the body of the email itself is going to have all of the information that your distributor needs in order to process the order. So they've got your information, they've got your PO number, you have your customer number if you have one, your vendor, your ship to information. Again, we didn't input any ship to information, so there's none showing, but you would likely have shipping information here. And then it has a list of our parts. So it has the vendor part number, description, quantity, unit price. Unit price is going to be your cost. So this is what you're actually paying the vendor. And then a subtotal there at the bottom. So all really great stuff, allows you to automatically submit this and your vendors being able to process that PO quickly. Now, I will just mention that while this PO is displaying as it is right now, the POs are customizable. So if you wanted them to look differently, you wanted to include additional information from the QuoteWerks system, you could easily do that just by going in and editing the purchase order template. So that is a great option that you have, is manually creating POs in QuoteWerks. Even beyond that would be, again, electronically ordering, which is currently available on desktop and will be coming shortly within web. So once we've actually gone in and created a PO or went in and ordered items, they're going to be included in the purchase orders tab. So you can actually see right now that we have our Ingram Micro PO that we just created, 25-1059, along with a list of all the other POs that have been created within our system here. So with that being said, what this purchase order tab allows you to do is kind of track the status of those purchase orders as they're going from submission to fulfillment. You can see in the grid here that we have a number of different pieces of information, like we've got the date, whether or not it was manually created or electronically ordered, the vendor, our PO number. If it's been exported, you can see these ones have been exported to QuickBooks, ref ID, shipment status, fulfillment status, so on and so forth. So a lot of quick hit information that you can use to describe or select your PO. And also up along top are different things that we can use to sort based on vendor, PO number, PO ref ID, order shipment status as well. So whether or not it's been submitted, shipped, or partially shipped. And you can see just a ton of different fields that you can use to ultimately drill down and find a PO if you're looking for one specifically. Now over here, we have the ability to import POs from TechData's website here. We also have the ability to email a PO status to customers for a PO as well. So it will include whatever ETAs and order status shipment that you may have. And then we also have email PO status to customers for all updated POs as well. So right from in this particular interface, you can very quickly not just review what a PO is or what status PO has, but you can also share that information with your customer as well. Now, if we go in and we actually click on one of these POs, you'll see that additional information comes up. And what this is down here is going to be a line for each individual item that's included on that order. And you can see we've got the manufacturer part number, we've got a description, we've got a quantity ordered, quantity back ordered, quantity shipped, received, cost, vendor part number, a ticket number if you have a sales order ticket number associated with this as well, and then a number of other pieces of information along the bottom. Now, you also have the ability to include tracking numbers. So if you wanted, you could manually add a tracking number, or if you've ordered through online ordering, that tracking number will automatically be updated. And then we also have the ability to receive different information or different products into the QuoteWerks system, just to keep track of how items are being received. And you can add the serial number here manually if you just want to add a serial number, or if you wanted to receive this item in, you can click on receive. It's going to ask you for that serial number, for a location, asset tag, and MAC address. Now, obviously, I'm just kind of putting in some random information there, but you would be able to put in your actual serial number, your actual information about this. And you can see that we've got quantity received, 1 of 1, and then our order shipped, order received quantity have also updated to 1 as well over here. So all really good information. You could even add your ship via, your warehouse, estimated ship date. There's a ton of different information that you can use or actually input directly into the system here and use to get an idea as to where things are in the process. You also have the ability to add a comment. So, for example, you might put in here that back ordered until 9/25. And then that's going to be included right here. Now, again, what I put in there is irrelevant. Just the simple fact that you're able to put a note on there is what I wanted to highlight for you. And then if you right-click on here, there's a number of different options that you have. One that I want to put out here is post-received items against ConnectWise PO item. So you can do that. You can change ship via, change distributor SO number, change the ETA, remove fulfillment record, or mark as shipped. So there's a number of different options that you have in the right-click menu. Again, everything that we're doing here gives you the ability to track what it is that you're doing and how things are progressing through the fulfillment process. Now, purchase orders, again, is going to be the high level of the purchase order level. Ordered items is going to get a little bit deeper into finding the individual items that you may have ordered as well. So here we've got filters for customer, PO number, PO ref, part number, so on and so forth. And ultimately, we're looking to understand what items are on order. And this is going to provide you a lot of information that we saw on the last screen. So we've got our estimated ship date, our ship via, our warehouse. We've got our ability to comment on it. We've also got our vendor, PO number, and order date as well. So we've got a lot of different information here, very similar to the other page, but instead of going at the purchase order level, this is going at the individual product level. So that's an overview of our purchasing tab, and then as well as our purchase orders tab and ordered items tab. I'm just going to pause for a quick second and see if there's any questions. I don't think I've seen any yet, but I do welcome you if you have any questions to go ahead and pop them up there in the GoToWebinar chat questions box. So we've talked so far about vendor maintenance, setting up your export integration to your accounting or PSA system. We went through the different tabs. While we were doing that, we showed you how to create a manual PO and receive inventory. One thing I want to show you real quick before we potentially go in and look at electronic ordering in desktop is to just take a look at vendor RFQ. Now, vendor RFQ, again, is a system that QuoteWerks has that you can subscribe to, and you have the ability to track different requests that you send out to your vendors. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add one of these items that I have on my currently open order to a vendor RFQ invite or bid. And it's going to give us a number of different options. Now, I just want to mention we do have other webinars that go more in depth into vendor RFQ. Today, it's just going to be kind of a general overview, but if you have additional questions, you can always reach out to our sales team. They'd be happy to give you a demo or keep an eye out for our future webinars as well. So with our vendor RFQ window open, you can see there's a couple different options we have. We can create a new RFQ, add selection items, and edit or invite vendors to bid. We can add these items to an existing RFQ, or we can invite more vendors to bid on these selected existing RFQ items. Now, this particular item has not been included in RFQ yet, so we're going to create a new RFQ. We're going to add those selected items and invite vendors to bid. In this case, we'll just go ahead and choose couple of vendors. We'll do D&H, Ingram Micro, and TD SYNNEX, and hit OK. And we'll call this, because this is a desktop, we'll call this new desktop deployment. And hit OK. And then if there's any internal notes for the RFQ, we can put them in here. Need to ship by 9/31. And then this would be the request or notes that would go into the actual vendor itself. So please provide your best pricing for the included product. Great. So you can see here that it's indicating that a bid request was sent to D&H, and we have Jack McGarity, who's our contact in our vendor maintenance. That's where all this information is being pulled from. It's going to give us the ability to then cycle through the 3 vendors that we just submitted. It's going to keep our text, and we can amend it if we want, though, for our notes for the bid. You can see here it's been sent over to Ingram Micro and Ryan Dan. And then finally here for TD SYNNEX, you see it's sent to John Kamal. All right. So indicates that 3 bid request items created across selected vendors. We can hit OK. And what your vendors are going to receive is a note via email that is going to ultimately show them that there is a request for additional information. So let me go ahead and pull this over. So your vendor is receiving this email, and there's a link that says to enter pricing directly through our RFQ system. Go ahead and click on there. And you can see that this is what your vendor would see. And they can put in a price, say $500. And then they could also say this item, whatever they might want, they can communicate. This item is in stock and ready to ship. Right. So not only are we going to get a request back to or back from this particular vendor, we're going to get the price that they've provided as well as any notes that they've included. So we're going to go ahead and hit submit bid and hit OK. So now if we go back into QuoteWerks, you can see vendor RFQ is here. We can see we've got our new desktop deployment request for quote. Shows us that our bid has been submitted from D&H, which is what we just did there. It's not been viewed by Ingram or TD SYNNEX. And you can see that our note that our vendor submitted is included here as well. So if we wanted, all we would need to do is just go into our system, open the product sourcing panel, and you'll see all of our RFQ information is included here. So if we wanted to award that bid, all we need to do is click on the vendor that we want to award it to, hit update, and it indicates that choosing this RFQ vendor will award the bid to the vendor, and we'll hit OK. So really great option for you to be able to go out to vendors, get pricing, try to get them lower on their number, and ultimately make sure that you're delivering the best cost to your clients. Now, I had mentioned that you are able to electronically order in QuoteWerks Desktop, and that we will be including this option in QuoteWerks Web as well. I just want to show you real quick what that looks like here. Very similar to what we just did, except instead of creating a manual PO, it's going to send a digital PO or order request to that vendor. So I'm just going to choose D&H here. And you'll see that everything that we have on this screen, very, very similar to what we have in web. The one thing that we have is place online order, create PO, which is not available for us. I'm just going to click on one of these items here and click on that place online order, create PO button. And here, it's going to ask us for a PO number, additional information, any special instructions. It could be anything you want. You're going to put in your shipping information. Again, we have the ability to copy from our sold to contact, our sales rep, or our location. Choose our shipping options. And then if there's any end user as well, we can pull that information in from our sold to, ship to, bill to tab as well. And once we're ready, we'll hit verifying pricing and availability. It'll indicate that it's been updated with current real-time pricing and availability. If there's been any changes, you'll also get to identify those and see how you might want to proceed. We're going to validate our order, and in this case, we did not include our ship to information, so we're just going to go ahead and copy in from our location that's stored in the system, and now we'll validate that order again. So in this case there are not enough stock available, it's going to tell us that, and you can see in this case it's saying it's not currently available. How would you like to proceed? You could not order the item and potentially go and try and source it from another vendor, or in this case we can click back order item, and you can see that it will ultimately back order that item for us. Also, it says in here is kind of a fail-safe for us, as it's verifying the pricing to say, in this case, the pricing doesn't match what we have for the item in QuoteWerks. And in this case, we can either choose the DH real-time or the QuoteWerks price override. So we're just going to go ahead and choose the DH real-time. And once everything's been checked and there's no issue, it'll say that we're good to go and we can submit that order. So again, this is electronically placing this order with D&H. You're then able to follow your normal shipping and fulfillment processes from there. And like I said, you also have the ability to go in and track all of that information from the purchase orders and ordered items tab, and have things like your tracking number and serial numbers all update automatically. It's also going to ask us here if we want to export the order to QuickBooks as a purchase order. I'll just go ahead and click yes. And again, we get that same error because it looks like my QuickBooks has not been set up, so I'll hit no. I misspoke. QuickBooks is set up. I just am always going through different demos, so probably need to go in and refresh my key. So here we are. We've got our order successfully placed. We also have the ability, as we did before, to save the PO as PDF, to email that PO, just copy the text or close it. And in addition, you can see having our QuoteWerks PO as well as our D&H PO, we now have our sales order number as well. And that sales order number will be carried over into the purchase orders tab, so we have that for reference as well. So I know this is a quick hit webinar. There's a lot of information that we've covered, but through the webinar, I hope that you've got a good idea as to how you could utilize the different purchasing options that you have available to you in QuoteWerks. With all that being said, there are a number of different resources that we have out there for you to leverage, whether you're looking to learn about this topic or any other topic in the QuoteWerks umbrella. We have our help files. We have our videos that we're publishing on a regular basis. Those are overview, setup, and use. We have our QuoteWerks forum, these webinars that occur on a weekly basis. We also have a tips and tricks email that I welcome all of you to sign up for. If you just go to the website and click on tips and tricks, we send out an email every month that has a quick overview of a different feature that exists within the QuoteWerks system. And while all of those resources are great, I always like to say the best resource that we have here at QuoteWerks are our people. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to our technical support or sales team. Now, if you've gone through this demo and you have yet to actually work with QuoteWerks or work with the purchasing module, definitely encourage you to reach out to sales. They'd be happy to do a more personalized demo for you, where you can learn even more about purchasing or any other aspect of the QuoteWerks software for that matter. So with all that being said, I'm going to take one last look here to see if we have any questions. And it does not look like we do. I would like to thank everybody for their time today and hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.